fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Chrissie is hilarious.
Chrissie, have you ever heard of the comedian Basha K. Ali?
No, that sounds like something you yell at before you blow up a plane.
Basha K. Ali!
30 seconds remaining.
But you know what, good thing to say, I dabbled in stand-up for something. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all.
I was very confused by the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's also what we call it when Ash takes off his shirt. I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean.
What's up, boys and girls? Welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. You can find us everywhere: iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Rumble, Rockfin, Twitter. My goodness, wherever they'll have me. Twitch, for some reason. Before I bring in our fabulous guest for the evening, I have a couple of stand-up dates to share with you. Yes, indeed. I will be going to Texas next week. It's come up so quickly. I can't believe it. Next Wednesday, I'll be in Austin, Texas, headlining the Roscoe's Comedy Club. Lila Hart will be featuring for me there. And then we'll be at the Anime Matsuri Convention Thursday, August 10th through Sunday, August 13th. There will be a Simpcast panel and booth. So stay tuned. I will be announcing when and where that will be. But that'll be all weekend at the George R. Brown Convention Center. Then I'm headlining in Houston on Friday, August 11th at the Secret Group. Nice early show at 7 o'clock. You can come on over right after the Anime Matsuri convention, and Lila Hart will be opening for me there as well. Then I got a couple of gigs in the Los Angeles area, September 8th and 9th. I'll be at the Pineapple Hill Saloon out there in Sherman Oaks. Then I got a comedy fundraiser September 23rd in Mahopac. Then I'm back in Long Island October 27th and 28th at the Brokerage Comedy Club. Headlining in Tampa December 3rd at Side Splitters. Those tickets just went on sale today. So my Florida people, get those while they're hot. Then back in San Diego in March. I'll be at the Mic Drop Comedy Club March 1st and 2nd. Get your tickets at ChrissieMayr.com. And I will see you guys next week in Texas. Okay, our guest for this evening. Not only is she a female comedian, which, as you know, are my favorite types of guest, but she's also a triple threat. She's a blonde. She's a ventriloquist babe. She's a writer. She does it all. And she was trending very recently in the news because of her ventriloquist puppets and her love life. So I'm so excited to learn more about her situation. First of all, how many ventriloquists do you guys even know? All right. I'm bringing you A+ interviews and content here for us. So put your hands together for ventriloquist babe, April Brucker. How are you?
Good. How are you, Chrissie?
Doing good. I'm hearing a little bit of that weird chippy feedback thing. I'm hoping it'll go away.
Yeah, well, there's a gremlin. There's a gremlin somewhere, and it was one of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes. But I just want to say that I met you once a long time ago. I don't know if you remember meeting me, but you gave me a big hug. So I've been.
I was waiting for you to say, and you were a cunt to me. That's what I was fully expecting. That's my biggest fear. Is that like in my worst moments, I give the worst first impressions to people. So, okay, because I've known of you for sure. I've definitely known your name. I've known I've definitely recognized. I'm I feel like I've known this girl for years, and I was rereading your bio, getting ready for this, and you have a cabaret background and it says you performed at the Duplex. I was like, I wonder if I met you at the Duplex because I used to do the open mic there.
The Duplex, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because I remember I met you once, but I felt like I always heard about you and I never quite met you. It's like I kept missing you.
We were always ships passing in the night. That's how it is in stand-up. It's like if you stick around long enough, you end up just about knowing everybody, or at least hearing of everybody.
Yes,
Although I
you're
couldn't tell you.
bad.
Although I couldn't tell if you asked me like name 10 comedians that are regularly performing in your other than like older folks. Like I don't know who any of the newer people are, but
Oh yeah, like I hear about them and they're on those lists, and then a year later I don't hear anything more about them.
yeah. Oh right, the who's the up and coming or the fresh faces. Like every year, like when you're a newer comic, you watch these articles of like, oh, who are the fresh faces or who are the top 10 comics to watch, and then you realize like over the years you're like, oh, they're just pushing the same people. Like you realize like it's their management, it's whoever reps these guys, they're getting them into these articles. And
Yeah, and
that's
they
how they
all,
get.
and and they're always like, and then they push boundaries, and you're like, okay, there we go again.
Yeah, it's like, do you? Are you? What are you pushing?
But they're always the ones that write you the note on Facebook about how your material offends them.
Oh my God. At least you get that. I don't even have people writing me on Facebook anymore, but they all kind of uh, stopped responding to me, I think, after the whole January 6th debacle, but that's fine.
You know what? It's comics. Here's the funny thing about comedians. For a group of people that crack jokes, they are the first to get offended at everything.
Yeah, a lot of them do get offended, and a lot of them ultimately, and I say this all the time, like don't really care about free speech as a whole as it
No, they
pertains to
don't.
everyone. Like they themselves just want to get rich and famous and like kind of fuck everybody else.
Exactly. And here's
Yeah.
the thing. Did I agree with January 6th? No. But you know what? It's like this is a country where it's a big country. We have a lot of opinions. And one of the problems with comedy right now and in the world is everybody screaming at each other on social media, and everybody wants to shut each other down. And it's like, guys, you need to laugh again.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. We all need to laugh. And and here's the thing. It's a big country. It's a big world. And everybody wants to shut everybody down. But here's the thing. Just because I disagree with somebody doesn't mean that I get to shut them down. And if I don't like a joke, well, there's a thing called a door.
Right.
Yeah, it's called a door. If you need to go outside and take 10, you take 10, come back when you feel better, or you go home. But it's called a door. To quote Flame Monroe, I've never been in a room without a door.
That's funny. Yeah, and I think the degree to which I see people getting triggered both online and in person at comedy shows, like in the audience, I think that's directly related to the degree to which like their worldviews might not be challenged very much among their own friend group, among their family. I think it's a little bit indicative of like the bubble somebody lives in. If like they're confronted with somebody at a comedy club on stage whose job it is to entertain everybody, it's like, no, I have to interrupt this whole show and let you know
it's like
that you're wrong.
About me. Yeah, and I think it was who's that girl? Ashley Gavin had an audience member, and I like Ashley. I like her comedy, and
yeah, I had her on Stonewall a couple of times. Like I definitely was like, oh, I remember the name.
Yeah, and she's and if you've ever watched her videos, she's a Brooklyn girl. Okay, that's who she is. She's like a female Mikey D in some ways, And this girl's like, and then she was just busting your chops. It's a comedy show, people.
Yeah. At some point, if you are doing your job as a comedian, like, I don't know, you should be sort of getting canceled, I guess, by some group of people. Like, you should be pissing people off and triggering them because, like, how else are you going to make somebody think? You're going to keep everybody comfortable? I don't know.
Well,
some people can do that.
Actually, I have a story about that, and to help me, I have May.
Oh, my...
You are no credit. As a matter of fact, I met you at Stonewall, and you were a total cunt to me, okay? May, that did not happen. Well, it was a good callback, April. Somebody's got to say something funny here, and it's not you. This is what I deal with, Chrissy, all the time. So,
this
May,
isn't... I'm putting you on solo layout. This is too good.
So, anyway, we got to tell a story about how we almost got canceled. So, tell the joke that almost got us canceled, May. So, I was saying that we're roommates, and I said, yeah, we went on Craigslist where all the good things happen. And what did the woman say? She says, "Oh my God!" He stands up in the middle of the show in Vegas and starts screaming and says, "The Craigslist killer killed my family. The Craigslist killer killed my family. The Craigslist killer killed my family." Yeah, totally. And so I'm like, this is bizarre. And so what did you tell her? I said, "Shut up." Yeah, so we said, "Shut up." And what did she keep saying? She said, "Fuck you. The Craigslist killer killed my family. The Craigslist killer killed my family." And she just keeps going, okay? And she's just getting crazier and crazier. So what did you say to her, babe? I said, "Well, it looks like the Craigslist killer got the wrong family member."
That's really, really impressive. Oh my gosh. I don't really see very many ventriloquists. So I'm always like, I'm amazed. Like, you're fantastic. I'm even impressed if someone is shitty at it. Like, even having a puppet on your lap that you have to control and move around is a huge deal. I want to talk. God, I have so many questions. I want to get into your kind of like most recent this drama, I guess, or this news article you were in from the Daily Mail from a couple days ago. This is just hilarious. I love the Daily Mail. I love the sensational way they write articles. Ventriloquist 38 and TLC star who spends $50,000 a year caring for her 38 puppet children opens up about desperate search for love after being dumped by fiance when she refused to give up her dolls. They're calling you a puppet obsessed woman, April. You're dumped by your fiance after you refuse to give up your doll children and reveal that you're now once again looking for love and still hope to get married one day to a man who will support your 50 grand a year figurine collection. Is that fair to say that you're spending 50 grand a year on puppets, or is that just like total value of all of them together?
Well, I would say, it's the total value. It's the upkeep. It's the traveling because they have to travel to places. And what do you have to say about that, May? Well, I say it's really expensive lately. Okay, I've been trying to get a sugar daddy for years. Okay, so, here's the thing. My last sugar daddy died unexpectedly at the age of 97. But May, you could always get a job. I'm too crazy for that. But May, everybody has to work. You said the W word. I'm too crazy for work, Chrissy. Okay, May. But actually, in all seriousness, though, yeah, that is realistic because they need new outfits, they need new hair, they need new clothes, and they also need, brushes for their hair, brushes for their fur. In some cases, they need upgraded because sometimes puppets need upgraded. And then also traveling with these guys isn't cheap. They have to have special suitcases. I have to keep them in a special way. It's like, if you're a performer and you've ever done taxes, it's like,
it's a lot of maintenance. A lot of expenses.
Yeah. And so these guys, it's like there are a lot of expenses. And May, who's your hero? Anna Nicole Smith, because it's a lot of expenses being me. Okay. You know the feeling, right, Chrissy?
I do know the feeling. Oh my goodness. It's shocking how much expenses I have. And I'm just one person. You guys are 38 people there. So
yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. Sometimes people try to cheat us out of stuff. Yeah, that's right. Tell her about how you sued somebody on Judge Jerry. This promoter in Las Vegas. The contract said April Brucker and May Wilson. That's right, April Brucker and May Wilson. And so what happened, May? He didn't pay me. That's right, he didn't pay you. And so what did you do? I totally lost it on him. Okay. I lost it worse than Lizzo. All right. You read about that. Yeah, I think everybody read about Lizzo right now. But May, so you lost it worse than Lizzo. Yeah, I lost it worse than Lizzo during the meltdown. Okay. And so then we went on Judge Jerry and we sued. Yeah, that's right. We took him on Jerry Springer. And what do you say? You know what? Equal pay for puppets. Okay, I'm a hard-working textile American. And you know what? He didn't treat me right.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Puppet lives matter. I agree 100%. I want to get through this. So what, actually, you could just tell me what led up to this article being written about you? Is it more about your puppets? There's a divorce involved. You're looking for love.
Well, it's more about not only me, but I'm going to go meet my sugar daddy. Okay, May. Thank you, May. And I'm just going to talk about this on my own for a second.
And then I want to see her back later for sure.
Oh, she's going to be back. Don't worry. And there's somebody else that there's somebody else that really wants to meet you too. And he's been hearing all about you. But anyway, before I get to these guys, what was involved was I met him and I was young and I wanted love and I hadn't had a lot of luck. And, this was back in 2010 and I got engaged on the third date, which I don't recommend.
You got what on the third date?
I got engaged on the third date.
Oh my God. Wow. So it was a whirlwind romance.
Yes, whirlwind. And this is why I'm a comedian. I don't make good decisions in my personal life. Anyway, long story short, but my parents were talking marriage on the third date and they're still together. So I got engaged on the third date. And so from there, the relationship went downhill very quickly because he said to me, my friends think your puppets are stupid, April. And I said, my puppets aren't stupid because he knew how much being a ventriloquist meant to me. And I said, and he's like, well, so-and-so thinks your puppets are stupid. And so finally he told me it's me or the puppets. So I thought, you know what, being a ventriloquist is great. I want to be a ventriloquist, but I also don't want to be alone forever. So I chose him. And it was a really stupid decision. So for about a year, the relationship got worse. He was really mean to me. Shocker, right? This is also shocking, right? And he became very controlling. The relationship became steadily more abusive until I just got so miserable that I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I took my puppets out and I started to work with them. And May, you can tell her what happened from there. I said, hey, girl, you're going to dump him. And I said, but May, I can't dump him. He's the man I love. And I said, hey, girl, he has no job and you're supporting him. Actually, that's true. I was. And because why not? And I said, well, what do we do now? Well, I said, choose the puppets. So I went out to him with May on my arm. And I said, listen, Laser, she's choosing the puppets and not you. And P.S., you have a really small thing in globe. And here's my magnifying glass. Bye-bye.
Oh, my God. Okay. So you ended up on this show called TLC's My Strange Addiction. And that's where you said, I'm desperately seeking Mr. OK, and Mr. OK has to be a man that likes puppets. That's number one. And he's got to have a good sense of humor. That's where I'm at. I'm still just desperately seeking Mr. OK, which I think is a very good place to start from. Sense of humor is crucial when dating a lady in the comedy business for sure. Yes. And here are some cute photos of you. I love this. April revealed she isn't short of offers, though, and has received fan mail from men all over the world, including prisoners. I will say I'm getting a lot of attention on social media from guys, she admitted. One guy wrote me in Croatian, and it was the first fan letter I'd ever gotten in Croatian. And I get fan letters from all over the world from men who have read about my fiance dumping me, and they want to marry me and take me far away and stuff. And so one guy writes me in Croatian that I'm beautiful. He wants to rescue me and my puppets. He wants to hold me. He wants to kiss me. And at the time, I had released a pinup calendar because I thought, why not? So I tried to get him to buy a calendar, and he said, I cannot receive mail where I'm at. And so I said, would you like an autographed photo of my puppets and I? Because I'm thinking maybe he doesn't want to spend money on that stuff. And he says, I can't receive mail where I'm at, but in 50 years, I hope to hold you. And so I'm reading a little bit more, and he comes clean. He's in prison in Croatia.
Yeah, he was in prison in Croatia. Yes. And so I was like, just my luck. I get a prisoner in Croatian. Actually, that letter was from Juan. No, May. The letter was for me. It 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 was for me. No, May. It was for me. No, it was definitely for me. Okay, he was writing to me. You see, Chrissy, this is the dirty truth. People use April to get to me. That is not true, May. How many of your dates have said, April, can we go back to the apartment and play with May?
Really?
Whoa. Yeah, actually that has happened. And so tell
oh my
her
God.
what happened. this guy, he was seeing April for 2 seconds. And she wasn't around, so he put his hand in me without my permission.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, he was a total Geppettophile.
Geppettophile. That's great. I love that. Okay, I'm gonna get through this. Let's see. Because I think this is so funny. I actually had a prison pen pal at one point, and then I stopped writing to him because I realized, oh yeah, when these guys get out of prison, like a lot of them end up killing their pen pals. So I was like,
or they need a place to live, and if
yeah,
they show up at your door, yes.
Yeah, and so I had to say goodbye to Jermaine. April isn't sure how her mother would react if she were to marry an inmate, though, as she admitted, with my mother, I would never hear the end of it. So, you got to draw a line somewhere. The My Strange Addiction star also revealed there is a downside to being in the public eye and putting herself out there on social media. Oh, this is a great photo. Oh, it's you in your overalls. Yes. I've had some people that have raised a lot of red flags, but thankfully I've had a lot of good support around me. I try to put boundaries up with people, but not all of my encounters have been bad. However, April has yet to meet her Prince Charming, but still daydreams about the day she'll walk down the aisle. And it says you want to get married someday. Your children, your puppet children keep you very busy. And you're talking about you got 2 new characters. And then how much money, it's just, you're talking about the upkeep, like when you're a writer, you have to get a new laptop. These are just like business expenses, as well as performing in shows in New York City, LA, and a 9-month residency in Las Vegas. April has also released a book about ventriloquism called Don't Read My Lips.
That's right. Don't Read My Lips. It's available on Amazon, and I'm on the front cover. Mm-hmm.
Oh. How did you get on the My Strange Addiction show?
Well, actually, that's a funny story, and May is going to help me tell this one too, because she had something to do with it. After my fiance dumped me, or after we broke up, rather, I dumped him, he dumped me. It was very mutual. We, and he told me, you're never going to be a professional ventriloquist, is what he told me. So I decided to use every hour that God or whatever is up there sends to become a professional ventriloquist. So we were street performing in Brooklyn. And this really hot guy comes up to me and says, can I take your picture? And actually, I think he said our picture. No, it was my picture. No, it was our picture. My picture, our picture. Our picture, my picture. Gotcha. Okay, fine. It was our picture. He says our picture. So he takes our picture, and I start telling him about my fiance because he's cute and he's got this camera, and he says, well, my girlfriend doesn't always understand. So anyway, I'm really heartbroken. I hear girlfriend. Well, that didn't stop me. I know that didn't stop you, May, but whatever. So anyway, long story short, we get a phone call a few months later, and it's a production company that's filming a show called My Strange Addiction, and they heard about me leaving my fiance for my puppets. And they said, can we get Ashley Wilson on there? And guess what? The young woman who sort of was the conduit between me and this was the girlfriend of the guy with the camera. So yeah, we were just street performing in Brooklyn.
Okay. And that's how they sort of scouted you for the show. And it looks like you had the camera crew, like they had to come into your house. Like, what was that experience like of filming it? And like, what kind of questions did they ask you?
Well, they asked me about my puppets, my fiance. They filmed us practicing. Well, I was the star. This was the big break that I'd always wanted. May, she's asking me, okay? So anyway, May, go meet your sugar daddy. The guy, she crashes my interviews all the time, okay? Yeah, they asked me about my, my figures, my practicing, how much money I spent on them. We went to the costume shoot. Like we went out to the street because I used to do stuff in Times Square, and it was pretty cool actually. And I found the crew was great. I found the production company was great. I got to go on the press tour, which was pretty cool, and I was broke at the time. And suddenly, I got to be on the Today Show for the show. So I got to travel around New York City in a black car, like one of those black cars.
That's fun.
And And then after the press tour was over, I was back, I was back to my apartment, eating ramen noodles, doing open mics.
That's how it goes. So what came first, comedy, stand-up, or ventriloquism?
Well, ventriloquism came first, but I had always wanted to do comedy. And I'd always kind of wanted to combine my love of comedy and ventriloquism, because when I was a teenager, the way I got into it is I grew up right outside of Pittsburgh, which means everybody loves football, right? And anyway, I grew up without cable because my parents were like, if you live here, you're a thinker. And my mother picked out my clothes, as you could see from all the pictures on my Strange Addiction thing, which made me so popular in school. Not. So anyway, I was a young comic in training. So anyway, long story short, my dad needed to get cable to see the local football games because my brother was playing football. And we didn't have the local sports channel. So my dad wanted one channel. And we ended up, but we had to get 40 other channels. And so after arguing for an hour on the phone, but I only want one, Brucker, you got to get 40. We got cable. So we're watching the cable after one of my brother's Friday night football games, because in Western Pennsylvania, Friday's high school, Saturday's college, and Sunday, let me tell you, is Sunday is pro. And then Monday is also pro. And it's WWE if you're into that. So they changed the channel, and it was the Edgar Bergen TV special. And all my family members tried to talk like ventriloquists. And Edgar Bergen's a famous ventriloquist, for those of you that don't know. And I have my great-grandmother's sideways Irish smile. And I was the only one that could do it. So...
What? Wait. Do that again, because a couple people in the chat are like, you have to ask April to teach you how to do ventriloquism. But you're saying that your smile gives you an advantage into ventriloquism?
Yeah, it's my great-grandmother's sideways Irish smile, and I was the only one that could do it. So that Christmas, my mother got me, she got me a Groucho Marx figure. And who was that was talking? Give me a second to get dressed. Okay, I'll give you a second to get dressed, Mortimer. Bonjour, mademoiselle. April did not tell me that you will be so beautiful. Oui. Oh, Jacques. I would be sacré blue if I did not get to meet you. Oh.
Is this your first puppet?
No, I actually got Mortimer after I did a Project Greenlight short, and I was an imaginary friend. That's right. And because as a ventriloquist, and I started performing in the clubs, and I developed simultaneously as a regular stand-up in the clubs, because, not everybody wants to book a ventriloquist, and why not get strong everywhere? And so, but I also developed as a puppeteer. And so I got a puppetry job. And after the film, what did they say? They said, do you want to keep this awesome blue coquette? And what did I say? You said, oui. So let's get down to business, Chrissie. What are you doing after the show? Okay, could you stop hitting on Chrissie?
He's so French. I love it.
But he makes my ears perk up.
This is so funny. When I was little, my grandma had a couple of puppets. They weren't like that. They were really small. The brand was called Steiff, and I think it was I don't know if it's a German brand or a Norwegian brand or whatever, but they were I remember my grandma kept telling me I had to be nice to them because they were expensive and an antique or whatever. But it was it was just a tiny little hand puppet with a little cat face. I was just a little cat with just arms, no legs or anything. And I would bring it to church, and I just would hold it in my arms like this and move it around. And I fooled a couple. Either they were being really nice to me. That's probably actually the case, because at the time I'm wow, I'm really fooling people into thinking I have a little cat here, that I just brought it to church, and I would talk to it. And then and then one year for my birthday, my grandma gave me well, it wasn't a puppet, it was a marionette, And I was like, oh, but then it's like, what are you gonna do with it? Like you can only do that like make it dance so much, and then you gotta put it back in the box and forget about it for 20 years.
Sometimes the strings get tangled. Good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your kitty cat. Are you into blue on stairs? Okay, Mortimer, stop hitting on her. This is weird. You're the one putting words in my mouth, mademoiselle. This is what I live with all the time, Chrissy.
So, okay, how did you start? So it was this. So how you got into ventriloquism was like basically a famous ventriloquist came to your town, and you were the only one that could do it.
Well, because I was watching him on TV, and I was the one that could do it. And now, I make things talk all the time. It's like me. Now I'm going to go back to my closet, mademoiselle. I will see you later. Mwah.
Mwah.
So I could do it, and it just became this thing that I could do. And you grew up in church, right?
Mm-hmm.
What religion?
Methodist.
Okay, well, I grew up Catholic, so it's like, Catholic, it's all the guilt in the world, and it's all the craziness. And but I had a friend in high school who was a big time Christian, and this is why I'm telling this story, because in my school, you were either, like, most everybody went to church. You were Catholic, you may have been Methodist or something else, but there was all this, like, there was like a big mega church in my town too. And one of my friends that went to the mega church thought that I was like possessed because of my puppets.
You were like, no, it's just, I'm destined for my strange addiction. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. But she thought that I was like possessed, and she was like worried about my soul and wanted to pray for me. And meanwhile, she went on to get knocked up by her boyfriend before graduating high school. But hey, choices, people.
To each their own. So what brought you to New York?
What brought me to New York was I went to NYU because I thought I was going to be a serious actor. That's the funny thing. Because I did the ventriloquism, but I was also hosting a show on cable access in high school called Storytime with April and Friends, where my puppet Sweetie Pie and I read bedtime stories to children. And then I was also doing the plays, and I thought, I'm going to be a serious actress. And so I get to college, and my first year of college, and this is how I actually got into the comedy clubs. I'm at NYU, and one of my teachers told me, you will never be an actor, April. You're never.
Why did they say that?
You don't have a future in this. Well, she was a very unhappy person who thought the industry owed her more than it did. And, you've been around comedy, you've been around the industry, and everybody's always talking about how unfair the industry is. Well, the industry's fair. It doesn't care about anybody. So she just was somebody who thought that she was destined for greatness. And she was always whining about Matthew Modine and how he didn't deserve a career and had one. And then I met Matthew Modine on the street briefly, and he was a nice guy. And so that's why he has a career. He's not a jerk off. So anyway, long story short, she said, you're never going to be an actor. And I thought, well, you know what? Maybe she's right. Because here's the thing. I'd tank out in her class, but I would go to the dorm talent shows, and I'd kill it with my puppets. So I'm like, I am destined to do something. So I'm thinking, do I go back home and transfer to a state school and marry Timmy Truman? And Timmy Truman was this guy that things got interesting with in high school. Or do I, and I was too shy to pursue it, but it just got interesting. Or do I stay in New York? And so I wanted to get out of the rain, and I hear stand-up comedy show. Free. And that's all you have to say. And I was wearing a white t-shirt. It was an abnormally hot day, and then it got cold. And so my white t-shirt is wet. You know where this is going. And so I embarked into this stand-up comedy show, and they told me it was free, and then they tell me I have to buy 2 drinks. And so
which club was it?
It was one in the Village that's no longer there. It was a hole in the wall. It was actually a room. And
okay.
Somebody was doing a free comedy show. I think it was the Village Lantern.
Okay.
And so anyway, long story short, I go down the stairs, and I see and the girl warming the crowd up isn't funny. And I'm like, my puppets and I are funnier than this.
Did you say that?
No, but I thought,
okay,
I can do this. I thought it, because here's the thing. I try to be nice, but sometimes it's like I'm thinking what everybody else is thinking. There was a guy falling asleep in the corner, and then thank goodness Mikey DiStefano got up and woke everybody up.
Okay, that's really cool. When did you go to your first open mic? Do you remember?
Oh God, I was still in college. I went and I actually did pretty well. Because I got up and I just, did it, and I did bringer shows like everybody else, and I ran out of friends and family members like everybody does. But it just felt like when I did comedy, I'm like, you know what? It's like, maybe I'll never be a great Shakespearean actor, but I'm destined for something that I think is actually more fun.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. From David Lowe, please be. This is about another character that I've done. Please be Grace Randolph again. You're so freaking adorable. Thank you, David. Deranged Lunatic Chrissy, did you work your month off today? That's another inside joke. I've been calling this area my munt, so we were laughing about that last night. And from Chase in Texas, $20. Please make it stop. I wonder if that's the clipping noise. Thank you, Chase. I wonder what we could do to take that noise away. Because when I mute April, there's no clicking noise. But then when I unmute April, the clicking is back. So I don't know. I had her go in and out. We were dealing with this before we hit record. She left the room. She came back. We thought we fixed it. I don't know what to do. I'm having a boomer moment. Okay, April, tell me, did you go to school or take any classes for ventriloquism, or is it all just like practicing yourself?
It was practicing myself, but I read books on it. I watched a lot of good ventriloquists. I just kept watching and learning, and the mirror was my friend.
Okay, wow. Okay, we have a super chat from Jeff. Have her teach you ventriloquism. Look, April, I don't even know. Is this even a thing you can teach? Let's see. Do I even have I don't have a puppet nearby, but I just have this stuffed animal.
You can use your hand. You can use your hand, and I actually teach people how to do this in my book. Don't read my lips. I actually give everybody a how-to. That's like everything I've learned. So anyway, you have a pup. You have a stuffed animal. All right, everybody. Okay, guys, this is a first. Chrissy's gonna do ventriloquism. Smile like you're on stage.
Like big?
And, like big. And now take the stuffed animal and turn him towards you and say, hello.
And I can't open my mouth at all.
No, can't. Try not to move your lips.
Hello.
And then you got to give the stuffed animal a name. Mr. Stuffy. Say, hi, Mr. Stuffy.
Hi, Mr. Stuffy. Hello. How are you today? I'm good, Mr. Stuffy. You haven't, I've been filling up your bowl for days now, and you won't take a bite. I'm anorexic. God, this is hard. This is so hard. I tried to be body positive like Lizzo. Oh my God. How do you not move your mouth? Are there certain words you avoid because they're hard to mouth?
Yeah. And again, I talk about it and don't read my lips, folks. The hardest letters for a ventriloquist are B. B's hard. M is hard.
Oh, M is impossible. Chrissie
Mayr.
Oh, M is impossible.
Yes, M is next to impossible, but you get better as you do it. Then M is hard. The plosives are hard. Like P can be hard.
Yeah,
then P's hard. W's hard. Like W is the worst. But what happens is you learn how to substitute stuff.
Who's your favorite president? George W. Bush. Yeah, that's really hard.
Who's his favorite president?
Who's your favorite president, doggy? Wait, can't say Barack Obama. That's a B. Joe, can't say Biden. Donald Trump.
Hello.
True. Melania's there.
Everybody. So what do you think of Chrissie's ventriloquism? I think Chrissie Mayr is tremendous, and I think she's going to be huge. So Donald J. Tramp, so do you think you're going to win in 2024? I'm going to win, and it's going to be huge. So are you aware that people think that you're a racist? Fake news. I hate to run, let alone exercise. Are you scared of going to prison, Mr. Tramp? Fake news. You see, I'm looking forward to it. Wait, what? Yeah, you see, it helps the rockers with their street cred. Chicks did a guy with 34 felony counts. And Chrissy needs a new prison pen pal. And Orange is the new Tramp.
You can't say Melania, right? Melania. That's really tough. Okay.
Well, I can't say her name either half the time. So there we go. I say, what if whose name I can't say? Get back in here. So, but
hey, you're a felony indictment if you had. Oh my god, this is so much harder than it looks, people.
Well, actually, you see, it's not really because my wife Melania talks with her about melanoma. That's my wife's name, melanoma. No, it's Melania. Melania, melanoma. She talks with her mouth shut all the time too.
Wow, it's almost like instead of saying the M, you have to say huh, you know, like you have to
Or
go into letters differently.
Yeah, that's what I do. I actually tell her what I do, Mr. Tramp. Instead of Melania, I kind of say the M and I go to Melania.
Melania. Like you just, yeah, you can figure it out. Wow, that's so fascinating. Okay, cool. Who are the other really good ventriloquists right now?
The other really good ventriloquist, I'd have to say, Jeff Dunham is excellent. Terry Fader's really good. Darcy Lynn, the young lady that won America's Got Talent. Taylor Mason, Willie Tyler, and then Steve Hewitt over in Great Britain, Nigel Dunkley, New York City. You get a lot from all over the world. But I just want to say that Chrissie Mayr is tremendous, okay? Tremendous. She's a tremendous ventriloquist. She's tremendous. And her doggy is tremendous. And I just want to say that. True. So what do you want to say to Chrissy? I hope I don't get convicted in court, but you can handcuff me anytime.
And you don't call him Trump, you call him Tramp?
Well, I call him Tramp because the thing about Trump is, like him or hate him, he trademarked his name.
Oh. Wow, yeah. Okay. So you can't.
And so I call him Tramp because he's sort of like a fop, a folly. That way we can all laugh at him. And here's the funny thing about him. I did a show where somebody threatened to burn down the venue if I brought him out.
What? What gig was this?
Yeah. This was at Don't Tell Mama in New York. They threatened to burn down the venue. I brought him out at a nudist resort. I walked a bunch of Trump-supporting nudists. And then, but here's the funny thing. Roger Stone is actually a fan of mine.
I love Roger. I interviewed him a couple days ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and Roger thought this was funny. Roger's a big ventriloquist fan. And Mr. Tramp, what's the last thing you want to say? I just want to say, Chrissie Mayr, you're going to grab the rest of this show in those stand-up dates by the pussy. And my hands are huge, and I'm going to be coming for you. Okay, get out of here. But funny story about how I met Roger Stone, and I didn't realize this was Roger Stone until after I met him. I have a friend, Frank Moreno. Do you know Frank?
I wonder if I've met him too. Is he a comic?
No, but he's on the radio all the time.
Okay, maybe not.
And Frank is a mover and a shaker. And Frank he was working with, do you know who Kristen, the madam is, the Spitzer madam?
Oh, yeah. God, I've met her. I think I even have her number. What the hell's her name?
Kristen, it's going to come to me.
Yeah, she's the Manhattan madam, I think they called her.
Yes, the Manhattan madam. So anyway, I met Kristen at this event, and Frank said, you need to meet Roger Stone, who's doing her publicity. So I meet Roger, and he's Roger. Okay, Roger is a character. All right.
Yep.
And he said, Frank tells me you're a ventriloquist, April. And so anyway, he friends me on Facebook, and he loves Charlie McCarthy. He loves Edgar Bergen. Sends me a photo, and he will even say to me, April, your politics suck, but you are my favorite vent.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, vent. That's what you guys call each other for short.
Yep. And he loves ventriloquists, and he would come on my Facebook page when he would disagree with my stuff. And he would be like, April, stay away from politics and stick to the ventriloquism. And everybody's like, what is Roger Stone doing on your page?
Wow. Who are some of the, I guess, more famous, or I guess like celebrities that you've met through doing this?
Oh gosh, I've met a lot. I met, let's see. Oh dear. I've met Jeff Foxworthy, very nice guy. Snoop Dogg, I got a kick out of Snoop Dogg. Met Joy Behar. Joy is Joy. She's very Brooklyn. I met Rachel Ray. That was interesting. I met Jerry Springer a few times.
Ooh. Did you go out? You went on his show, right?
Yeah, we went on Jerry, and Jerry's cool.
Oh, yeah.
I miss him. I met Jerry. I met a lot of the Heisman guys. Gosh, I wouldn't say a lot of it. I met Caitlyn Jenner before she became Caitlyn.
Oh, where did you, so you met, the old Bruce. Where did you meet him?
Well, the funny thing is, I was walking in Times Square and they were shooting me, and they were shooting him. And I said, you're Bruce Jenner. This was before Caitlyn. And he was wearing a lot of makeup. And this is why, and I just assumed they were filming him. And he had his track suit and his Olympic medals. And my mom is like a fitness queen. And I said, my mother had your cereal box when you won that triathlon. And he says to me, you have the power. And he gives me a high five and just walks away with his camera crew.
Wow. He was right.
Yeah, I met him. I met Bill de Blasio, which I was not impressed with de Blasio.
Yeah, he sucked.
He was just a weird guy, and he was trying to stage a press event, and it just was no. I met him. I met Chris Matthews, the guy that does hardball that spits all the time.
Yeah.
He spits just as much in person. I met Anderson Cooper, but Anderson Cooper didn't realize he met me.
Where'd you meet him?
Donald J. Tramp and I were actually correspondents with the Clyde Fitch Report. And we were covering the events in Las Vegas. Remember when Hillary and Trump debated in Las Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was in there was the A spin room and there was the B spin room. I was in the B spin room. So they're arguing, of course, and she says, you're Putin's puppet. And he goes, you're a very nasty, nasty woman, that whole thing. And everybody's getting into it like it's a WWE match. So afterwards, we're leaving Thomas and Mac, and Anderson Cooper goes behind a golf cart, and he's half asleep.
Was he driving it?
No, somebody was driving it for him.
Okay.
He's a Vanderbilt. He doesn't drive that golf cart. He rides a bike. Come on. Oh,
yeah, I
met
figured.
Michael Musto. I met Michael Musto. I've been interviewed by The Wrap. I met Voss, and Voss is a celebrity in the comedy world. I actually met him backstage at Joy Behar.
Wow. That's so cool.
And
Have you...
I got to work with Otto before he passed. That was pretty cool. So Trish and,
from Otto and George.
And Logan, hi, if you guys are watching. That's Otto's partner. That's his wife and sister. So
okay, cool. So you've been getting letters from inmates after you were on My Strange Addiction and now this article in the Daily Mail. Have your inbox been flooded with potential suitors?
Actually, yeah, it has. Potential suitors from all over the world. There was a guy and this is the funny thing, the first time I went viral in the Daily Mail, and I did it long before COVID made it cool. The article went viral from England to Iceland to Italy, then Russia to China to India, then from Singapore to Indonesia to Australia, then from Ghana to Nigeria to Kenya, then from Colombia to Brazil to Guatemala. That's right. I'm a celebrity in Guatemala. And the headline read as follows: Ventriloquist who splashes out 20 grand a year on her puppets that even have their own bedroom dumps her fiance after he says it's them or me. And so that was the first time I went viral. And that was back in 2015. And so the way I found out I went viral, I didn't even know I went viral, but I was on a family vacation and and my sister was getting married, and we had a tense family dinner where something about her wedding came up, and it was like, and so we go back and I was like, okay, I need a timeout. So I Google myself because, okay, this was like weird. I had a friend that just broke up with her boyfriend that's calling me and making me crazy. So I was like, why don't I Google myself to make myself feel good? Or something came up about her on Google. I'm like, well, I wonder what would happen to me. And all of a sudden, all this crap about me, like all this,
You don't have Google alert? You're not signed up for Google alerts?
Well, I didn't know to do that. I was like,
okay,
I don't Google myself, So anyway, but now I have Google Alert. But all of a sudden it was like I was written about in all these different languages. And it was the first time I saw Icelandic. I was like, what is this? And so anyway, I was doing Google Translate in my other folder on Facebook. And this is how I got my account hacked, I believe. And that's a different story. I'll tell that in a minute. It was flooded with, requests from men all over the world. And one guy in Greece told me, the dolls aren't real. I'm going to take you away. And so I get flooded all the time. I had a guy in India who decided to call me. We never met, but he wanted to call me. He wanted photos of my feet, and he just went right for it. He called me. He just started calling me and got really confrontational when I didn't pick up. Then I had a bunch of guys in Indonesia messaging me. I had a guy in China reach out. I've had guys in South America. And so if creepy men were baseball cards, my collection would be worth $1 billion.
Wow. Okay. So the Indian guy, he was a foot fetish guy, which they are pretty intense. I've experienced that. And how was you said your computer was hacked?
Well, my Facebook profile and my Instagram, because I had an Instagram account where I had 18,000 followers. And so if you go to my Instagram, I say, yes, this is me. I'm the girl that left her fiance for her puppet. So people will know that it's me, because everybody was like, because some people who reached out through my website were like, are you okay? You went offline. Are you mad at me? Why did you block me? I'm like, I didn't block you. I was hacked. And so I was hacked by the wife of a jealous fan. Or the jealous wife of a fan. I can't talk without these guys.
The jealous wife of a fan. Okay.
Yeah.
How did you figure out which fan it was? Was there a correspondence or?
Well, it was a fan that was offered to marry me. And he was writing me some letters, and I had released a pinup calendar, and he bought a calendar, and he was buying all my merchandise. And what that fan neglected to tell me was he had a wife.
Man, yeah, that's a pretty crucial point right there.
Yeah, and so every time somebody followed me online, I'd say, "Hey, thank you for following me, Booski, blah blah. Looking forward to getting to know you as a fan, but most importantly, a friend." And this was a very forward fan who sent me certain photos of his male anatomy. And and his wife messages me back and says, "Fuck you, Booski. Stay away from my husband." And I'm like,
wow.
And so then she got all of her crazy friends. These people looked like, let's just put it this way, this family tree looked like a straight line. Okay, they were all related, and they were all messaging me and threatening me. And the next thing I know, my account's hacked and my page is being duplicated. And I was like, holy Toledo, And for as much as it hurt, it has been, a lot of my original fans are finding me. So I do mean something to somebody somewhere.
Did you report the fake account?
I did. I reported all of it, but Facebook still disabled it. I've been appealing for months. It's been a lot of drama, you know?
Okay, wow. And then had you ever heard from the guy again or the wife?
I heard from the guy again. He tried to follow me, and he apologized for his wife and said that it's his estranged wife. And I was like, this is a lot of drama, dude. And it's like, did she realize we never met in person and blah, blah, blah. And then I haven't heard from her again, but she did actually try to call my manager.
Oh, wow. To do what?
Yeah. And she's like, blah, blah, you know, April's doing this. And he like hung up on her like, bye.
Wow, that's insane. Geez. Would you be opposed to dating another ventriloquist?
No, I wouldn't. As a matter of fact, I think it would be pretty hot if I dated another ventriloquist.
Have you ever dated a guy who's like wanted to do weird things with your puppets?
Actually, yeah. I got propositioned for a threesome on the road.
Does it count if it's does it count really as a threesome if it's you, a guy, and a puppet?
You know, that's a good question. But I was doing a gig in Omaha, Nebraska, where all good things happen. And after the show, this guy seen me in May, and he offers to give us $500 to go up the road to his farmhouse, and you know. And I'm like, how are you going to do this? He's like, well, I'm going to start with May, and then I'm going to go to you. But he wanted to have sex with May, and I said, well, and then he wanted to do me. And so he said, I'll give you $500. And he flashed 5 $100 bills. Now, you've been on the road, and you know when you're starting out, there's no money on the road. And I was a feature. And you know how, like, when you start out on the road, you spend money to get to the gig, but you're
right.
Like, I'm featuring. Well, I'm thinking, I'd be a prostitute, but I need the money to get home. And so I brought out May Wilson to negotiate. And what did you say? I said 500. And he said yes. And what did you say? I said for the both of us. And he said yes. And what did you say? I said, listen, sir, if I'm going to do anal, it's $1,500 a day. Okay, I don't work cheap. Bye-bye. And so that killed that negotiation. But I always was glad that we passed on that because, you know, I lived to tell the story. I might not have lived. And also, I just saw poor May with her stuffing cut out in the middle of a crop circle.
Yeah, $500. I feel like that would just cover whatever you'd have to spend to clean the jizz out of the puppet, right? I mean,
yeah. But you know, but on the other hand, but you've been on the road. You know how it's like. Well, I need the money to get home. Gas
True.
costs more than I thought it would. Or it's a crappy gig, and and then somebody's like, "Oh yeah, you got $30, but you still need to pay me for gas."
Yep. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's so interesting. Do you use certain types of puppets for different shows? Do you do kids shows? Do you do like an adult? You know what I mean? Like, do you do just like triple X shows?
I do everything. I do kids, adults. As a matter of fact, I am currently developing a new show called Dummies After Dark. And it's going to be here in Las Vegas, so stay tuned, everybody. And it's going to be, it's going to be a fun show for everyone. And I also have a little series called Dummies on the Street, where my puppets ask people questions in Vegas. And I have a show called April in Vegas. We're getting ready for the second season. It's going to be poolside at the English Hotel, and I actually had Leondell Eugene Murphy Jr. from America's Got Talent on, another celebrity I forgot. So, but I do shows for everybody. And I just think we all need to laugh, And one of the things I do is I also make fun of everybody. And hello, my fellow Americans. She wanted to know what kind of puppet she used. Ew, what are you doing? Pantene Pro V, I knew it. You see, this is how my dog gets around the world. So, Chrissie, are you going to vote for me in 2024?
Probably not, Joe.
Why not? You see, when I was a boy in Scranton, my father said, Joe, you can always trust a girl named Chrissie. So, Chrissie, why won't you vote for me in 2024?
Oh, gosh. I think you're too old, Joe.
Too old? You see, I'm the oldest person ever elected president. Knock on wood. I'm as quick as a lick. Knock on wood. I'm as strong as an ox. Knock on wood. Who's this again? It's Chrissie. Oh, Chrissie, yes, Chrissie. So,
Joe, would you have a
yeah.
sniff if I lean in really close?
Absolutely, lean in really close. Let me guess. Herbal essence.
You're right. You're right.
So what do you think of your vice president? Calamari Harris is a very extinguished woman.
Calamari?
Yeah, Calamari. She talked me out of wearing cornrows for this here interview. So what do you think of Donald J. Trump? Well, you see, I don't think he's a very honest guy, but you know, one thing I liked is he likes to employ felons. Why do you like the fact that he likes to employ felons? My son Hunter needs a job. But yeah.
Great.
So, you know, everybody says I'm too old, but let's just put it this way. I can crack down on coronavirus. How can you crack down on coronavirus? Here's my plan. And here's the deal. Number one, we're going to listen to the doctors and surgeons. Number two, we're going to get America vaccinated. Number four, Mr. President? Yeah, number four, what were we talking about again? Coronavirus. Oh, coronavirus. When I was a boy in Scranton, you see, my first drink was a drink called Corona.
Joe, where do you get your puppets from? Like, can you just like buy a Joe Biden puppet, or do you have to kind of like customize it? And do you ever make any of them yourself?
I don't ever make any of them myself. I got him on Etsy actually, and he's kind of on the big side. He's one of my bigger puppets. So he's so I always have to make sure he's kind of styled and stuff. But I got him on Etsy. I had him made for me on Etsy by a puppet maker. Donald J. Trump was made by a puppet maker in Scotland.
Cool.
Mae Wilson was made by Jeff Dunham's puppet maker, actually, Marianne Taylor. And sometimes I purchase them. Sometimes I rescue puppets. Mortimer was rescued.
Rescue puppets? Where do you rescue puppets from?
I rescue puppets from everywhere. But I rescue them if they need rescued. And, I'm always rescuing puppets. And Joe Biden time, what do you think of puppet rescue? When I was a boy in Scranton, I always rescued puppies. Puppies. Have you fallen asleep? It's bedtime.
Wake up, Joe.
Oh, I
wow.
I gotta wake up. Jill, where are you? No, this is Chrissie. Oh, Chrissie! What's my wife gonna say about me being here? She knows you're doing the interview. Oh, yeah, that's right. So anyway, folks, vote for me in 2024. I'm not too old. I'm just vintage. Joe Gardner.
Thank you, Chase, for the super chat. Matthew Hammond. Oh, what does she think about Jeff Dunham? I think you said you liked him.
I like Jeff. I respect Jeff. I hope to be as successful as Jeff one day. But there are people who are like, April, you're better than Jeff. And then there are people that tell me I'm not as good as Jeff in the comments.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot. People are just like, oh, I really like the person that I like. And they're always kind of comparing you to somebody that they've already, been a fan of for. I think that's so silly. Like, I get that a lot. Like, oh, there'll be like fans that are like, obviously you're great. And then there are some people that are like, oh, you're not as funny as Artie Lang. You're not as funny as Norm Macdonald. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know that it was a competition.
Well, Norm Macdonald's dead, and Artie Lang is hopefully staying out of trouble. So I think you're in better shape than them. So
yeah, it's crazy when, I'm sure you experience this too, when you get compared to people who are like nothing like you at all.
Yeah, and here's the thing: I respect Jeff, and I hope to be half as successful as he is someday.
Yeah, that's really cool. My God, what was your strangest booking or strangest gig you've done with the puppets?
Oh gosh, this was when I was a little ventriloquist. I was doing a show in New York City, and it was a party for couples. I didn't know what that was. I'm a little Catholic girl from Pittsburgh, so I go, and they're paying me. And whenever anybody pays me, I show up. Okay, I'm a comedian. All right. So I go to the party. I'm entertaining with May, and all of a sudden, this, like, I'm entertaining with her. People are on. I'm doing the walk around, and all of a sudden, this massive orgy breaks out.
Just out of nowhere? There's no music? There's no...
It just kind of happened.
Wow.
And, because I was doing the scrolling, the walk around stuff, and this orgy breaks out. And people are, like, grabbing me to be a part of this orgy, and I'm running out the door. And these are not very good-looking people either.
Wow. Who got hit on more, you or May the puppet?
Oh, May got hit on more.
Oh my goodness. Okay. That's really funny. I did comedy once at like it was an orgy place too in Brooklyn. It was called like Not Safe for Work. I got paid with an amethyst dildo. I was like, this is but then I looked up the retail value. It was like $220 or $240 or something. I was like, I would have rather had the cash, but I guess this amethyst dildo is nice too. I just use it as like a paperweight. It's too pretty to like put inside me. I've always felt that way, but
one of the jobs I had as a signal telegrammer was I was a signal telegrammer to support my ventriloquism, because you know how everybody's got to have the job to support the career as a performer. And so I was delivering to a celebrity chef once, and he really liked what I did. And he says, "Come and let me give you a tip." And I'm thinking he's going to give me money. No. He gives me 3 slices of his cake.
Just his cake?
Yeah, his cake. He baked this cake, and it was 3 slices of his cake.
Wow.
It was really good cake, and it was probably going to be like a really expensive cake, because it was like top shelf cake. And I was like, "You didn't give me money, fine, but let me eat cake."
The tip is cake. Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. Have there ever been any gigs that just went horribly wrong? Like ever get booed or, hate or anything like that?
There have been so many. Like, if you do comedy and you don't have like a sob story, you're not doing it right. I was doing a gig in rural Pennsylvania where all good things happen. And this guy, starts heckling me. I'm not even on stage in 2 minutes, and he's wearing a Kiss costume, and I'm just like, why is he wearing a Kiss costume? And he's just ripping into me in May, and he won't shut up, and it was like awful, and it was one of those things that I was like, holy hell, and I almost and I just somehow got through it. And so that was a hellacious gig. And then another gig, I was booked on a metal show, which I don't even know what I was doing there, but they were paying me. So I went out to, and it was like a fundraiser kind of for a chick that was dying. I go to the show, and the crowd really wasn't into a comedian, but I get up, and by the end I got them with me. But there were 2 guys hitting their head on the wall outside.
What?
Yeah, they were there. They're like, if I bang my head against the wall, who's going to be the first to get knocked out? This was South Jersey. That explains everything, right?
Okay.
So, yeah. So I did the gig, and afterwards, the guy that booked me goes, "You did really great." I'm like, "That was like an okay set at best, dude. It was mediocre." He goes, "No, you did good. There was another comedian here earlier, and they chased him off the stage." I'm like, "How nice."
Wow. That's fun.
And then there was the Moose Lodge. The Moose Lodge, this audience was lit in all the wrong ways. They were throwing stuff at the comics, and oh God. And I just got through that one. And then afterwards, they're like, "That's terrible that they didn't give the comics a chance." And it's like, well, dude, you were the rudest one out of everybody.
That's what happens sometimes. Yeah. You get stuff thrown at you. People rush the stage. You'll get heckled. You'll get followed to your car. It's showbiz, baby. You gotta roll with it.
Yeah,
So-
and there are people who, I've done shows with Donald J. Trump. They hate him. I've done the Trump people don't like him. Then the Biden people think I'm ageist for making fun of Joe Biden time. And
Wow.
And so then I get, and I've gotten hate mail, and I've gotten I hate you and your puppets, April, and oh yeah, I've gotten a lot, I've gotten a lot of love, I've gotten a lot of hate, but you know what? Showbiz, baby.
Showbiz, baby. Have you been getting a lot of, you said your inbox is full of guys trying to date you. So where are you going out to find guys? Are you on apps? Are you going to happy hours? What's your plan?
Right now I'm going out to meet people because I've tried meeting people online. It's always a disaster. So, but I'm going out. I'm trying to meet guys at my shows, which is also a disaster. I'm trying to do the happy hours. I'm working out. I'm taking an exercise class,
That's good. Yeah, I think talking to people at the gym is like one of the safest places, even though, you'll see videos online like, oh, the girl in the tight shorts, like nobody wants to, don't talk to her. Everything's a Me Too. But I still think a gym is like a healthy place to try to,
oh yeah, it's
introduce
healthier
yourself.
than meeting a guy on an app, and he puts up a picture, and then you're like, who's this toad that just walked in?
Right.
It's like, yeah, and because meeting guys on the internet is always dicey,
Mm-hmm. You just can't have it be the only thing that you do. I love this. And hopefully after tonight, you have even more messages from guys. I really would love to see you with another ventriloquist, or maybe another a musician, somebody that can add to your act. I think would be great.
Oh yeah, definitely. And especially since this guy already thinks he's my Mr. Okay. Well, hello, Chrissie. I just want to say that, little darling, I think that you're beautiful, and I know that April's other male puppets have been harassing you all night. You look like somebody, but you're not. Well, little lady, I'm Mr. Las Vegas' second cousin, twice removed. Twice removed? Yes, I've been removed once by casino security and once by the Clark County Department of Health. So you're not Mr. Las Vegas. No, little lady, I'm Mr. Angus Las Vegas. Las Vegas. And so where can we see you in Vegas? Well, you can see me performing at the Kroger Supermarket Slot Parlor. But I got hopes and I got dreams. And someday when they get a gaming license, I hope to appear at Whole Foods. And have you ever met your famous cousin? Actually, yeah, he gave me his autograph once. Autograph? Yes, it was good and gold at the bottom of the restraining order. Oh. And so what do you want to do? I want to sing a song to Chrissie. Dunkashane, Chrissie, Dunkashane. Thank you for having April and her puppets on again. Mr. Stuffy, you have a future in showbiz. You can open for me at the Kroger Supermarket Slot Parlor anytime. Dunkashane, darling, Dunkashane. Thank you for letting Joe sniff your hair again. Dunkashane. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chase.
Supermarket Slot Parlor. And half off on tortilla chips. Half off on tortilla chips. What's going on? I'm still on the clock. Thank you very much. Dwayne Newton, everybody.
Yay! April, any other upcoming gigs you want to plug and promote, and any other social media handles people should follow you on?
Yes, follow me on the social media handles at the bottom of the screen. Also, check out my show, April in Vegas. We're getting ready for our second season. We're on YouTube. Check out Dummies on the Street on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube. Follow me online. And another thing, I have the second edition of my book, I Came, I Saw, I Sang, Memoirs of a Satan Telegram Delivery Girl, coming out this fall, guys. Second edition. And buy my other book, Don't Read My Lips. But yeah, and so Mr. Hand, anything you want to say? Yes. Follow April, because she makes things talk.
Everybody follow April on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. That's freaking hard. Oh my god. I clearly need to practice a little bit more. Everyone follow April. April, thank you so much for coming on. I will be checking in with you in your quest for love and puppetry, and hopefully the two can coexist.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks to the chat, and we'll catch you guys next time.